Bienvenue tout le monde. Allons commencer le dialogue en français. Regardez et écoutez s'il vous plaît.
So you're heading off to a French-speaking country. Maybe Canada? Awesome. Today, we're going to tackle the one conversation you are pretty much guaranteed to have, that first chat with an airport official. We're going to break it down step by step so you can walk up there feeling cool, calm, and collected. Does the whole idea of speaking French to an immigration officer make your stomach do a little flip? Yeah? Well, you are definitely not alone. But stick with me here, because by the end of this short explainer, you're going to have a super simple 4-step playbook to get through this exact situation, no sweat.
All right, so every conversation's got to start somewhere, right? At immigration, it all kicks off with a simple, polite greeting. And look, this isn't a test. It's really just about starting the whole thing off on the right foot.
Okay, so you walk up to the counter, and this is almost certainly what you're going to hear first. Let me say it again, nice and slow so you can get the feel for it. Bonjour, monsieur. Votre passeport, s'il vous plaît. Super simple, super polite, and boom, that's our cue.
All right, let's break this down. The really great news here is that the word order is almost exactly what you'd expect in English. Bonjour is hello. Monsieur is sir. Votre passeport is your passport. See? It makes it really easy to follow along.
Now, let's zoom in on this last part, s'il vous plaît. You know, you might have learned the more casual s'il te plaît, but here's a huge cultural tip. With any official, it is always the formal vous. It's all about respect. And honestly, getting this right just shows you've done your homework.
And here's your response. It's simple, it's perfect. You say hello back, and you hand over your passport. It's clean, gets right to the point, and it shows them, hey, I understood you. So when we look at this side by side, it's pretty clear. Bonjour, hello. Mon passeport, my passport. Got it. But what's that magic word in the middle, holding it all together? It's voilà. I'm telling you, this is one of the most useful, high-impact words you can learn in French. It's this perfect, simple little word you can use anytime you're handing something over. It's basically your all-purpose, here you go, or there you have it. Super easy and so effective.
All right, passports handed over, phase 1 is done. So what's next? Well, the most logical question in the world, why are you here? And this is it, the big one. What is the purpose of your visit? But hey, don't let the sentence length throw you off. We're just going to focus on the key words you need to listen for to get the gist.
Once again, the structure is actually pretty straightforward. Quelle est means what is, and votre visite is your visit. But that one word in the middle, but, oh man, that's a classic trap for English speakers. And here is the absolute key to unlocking this whole thing. In French, but, spelled B-U-T, means purpose or goal. It's what's called a false friend. It looks just like an English word, but, whoa, it has a totally different meaning. Once you know that, the whole question makes perfect sense. So your response, it can be just as clear and simple. Just state who you are and how long you're staying. That's it, a perfect 2-part answer.
I love this response because it just completely nails the question. First part, je suis touriste, I'm a tourist. Boom, status clarified. Second part, pour une semaine, for 1 week. Done, duration covered. You've given them everything they need, no confusion.
Awesome. So now the officer knows who you are and why you're there. They might have just one more simple follow-up, and it's usually about your plans.
This is a super common one. Where will you stay? The magic word you're listening for right at the beginning is où, which means, you guessed it, where.
The structure here is pretty simple. Où is where, and rester means to stay. And here's a little pro tip for you. Even if your brain kind of fogs up on the words in the middle, if you can just catch où and rester, you've got the question. You're golden. You know what's so great about this answer? It proves you don't need to have every single detail of your trip planned out to the minute. Just being honest and saying something simple like, I'm going to look for a hotel near the airport, is a totally fine and perfectly acceptable answer.
And hey, just like that, you're pretty much done. The officer has what they need, and the conversation is winding down. This farewell part is usually really quick and friendly.
The second you hear très bien, which means very good, you can relax. You're in the clear. And then you'll probably get this nice little send-off, bon séjour au Canada.
That key word there is séjour, which just means stay. So bon séjour is just their friendly way of saying, hey, have a good stay, or enjoy your trip. And when you hear that, you know the conversation is officially over.
So really, when you boil it all down, what did we just do? It was just a simple 4-step thing. You greet them, you state your purpose, you answer a quick question, and you say thanks. That is the entire playbook right there. And your final line, the perfect way to wrap things up? A simple, polite merci beaucoup. That's it. Thank you very much. It's the perfect ending as you grab your passport and head on your way.
And there you go. You just walked through your first official French conversation. See? Not so bad, right? With just these few key phrases, you are totally ready to handle this critical travel moment with confidence. So that leads to my question for you. What conversation should we tackle next?
Okay, have you ever had that little jolt of panic when you go to hail a taxi in a country where you don't speak the language? Well, in this quick breakdown, we are going to completely take that feeling away. We're going to walk through a real-life French taxi conversation, step by step, so you can feel like a pro from the moment you land. Let's jump in.
So picture this. You just got off the plane in Paris. You're exhausted, your luggage feels like it's full of rocks, and the only thing on your mind is getting to your hotel. You see the taxi line right there. This is it. What do you do?
All right, the secret to a stress-free ride is starting strong. Your very first sentence can set the tone for the entire ride. Let's watch how our traveler here just nails it.
See, it's polite, it's clear, and it gets right to the point. A simple bonjour is always the right way to start, but it's the next part that really does all the heavy lifting.
Okay, pouvez-vous m'amener à? This phrase is your golden ticket. It just means can you take me to, and it works for absolutely everything. A hotel, a museum, a specific address, you name it. If you memorize one thing, make it this.
So with just one sentence, the driver knows exactly what you're looking for. You've done your part. Now, what does he say back?
You've asked your question. Now it's time to decode the answer. The driver is about to give you two really important pieces of information. Let's break it down.
So the driver says, oui, bien sûr, yes, of course. That's a great start. Then he gives you a solution, but you got to pay close attention to the specific words he uses here. You know, this is one of those little details that makes a huge difference. Our traveler used the word économique, which is perfectly correct, kind of formal, but the driver comes back with pas cher. It's a much more common, everyday way to say cheap or inexpensive. It's a great little tip to help you sound more natural.
And there it is. The first solid piece of info the driver gives you is the travel time, 10 minutes. That is super helpful, right? Because it immediately tells you how far away it is and helps you decide if the price he gives you later sounds about right.
So, putting it all together. Yes, of course, there is a cheap hotel 10 minutes from here. You've got a yes, you've got a destination, and you've got a time frame. So what's the next obvious question on your mind?
The price, of course. You need to know how much this is going to set you back before you agree to anything. Asking about the cost is not just smart, it's an absolutely essential part of the deal. And here is the question you need. Combien coûte la course? It's short, it's to the point, and trust me, every single taxi driver in France knows exactly what it means.
That key word in there is la course. In pretty much any other context, it means the race or the run. But when you're in a taxi, it specifically means the ride or the fare. It's the perfect word to use.
And the English is just as simple. How much is the ride? There's no way to misunderstand that. It's a crystal clear question. And now for the answer.
The driver gives a nice, simple reply. Environ $20. Now, that word environ is pretty important. It means about or around.
So, the fare is going to be around $20. And just like that, you have all the pieces of the puzzle. You've got a hotel that fits your budget, it's not too far, and the price sounds right. You are all set to make your decision.
All right, you've got the info, you're good with the price. It is time to give the driver the green light and finally get this show on the road.
And this is how you do it. D'accord, which means okay or I agree. And you follow that up with one of the most useful, all-purpose phrases in French, allons-y.
Okay, let's go. And that's it. You've just navigated the entire conversation perfectly. The driver starts the meter, and you are on your way to that hotel. You did it.
So let's just boil this all down into your new 4-step taxi plan. It's super simple. Number 1, greet and ask. Number 2, understand the details. Number 3, question the cost. And finally, number 4, give the go-ahead. That's it. That's a formula that will work every single time. You've got this.
And there you have it. You just took a moment that can be really stressful for a lot of travelers and turned it into a simple, confident conversation. You have the phrases, you have the plan. The only real question left is, what conversation are you going to conquer next?
Have you ever had that moment you walk up to a hotel desk in a French-speaking country and your mind just goes blank? Well, don't worry, you are so in the right place. In this explainer, we're going to walk through exactly how to book a hotel room in French, step by step. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll have all the phrases you need to do it with total confidence. Okay, let's put you right there in the moment. You've just arrived in a gorgeous French city, you're a little tired from traveling, and all you need is a room for the night. You spot a hotel, you walk in, the receptionist looks up and smiles. So, what do you say? Let's dive in and figure that out. All right, let's talk about that first interaction when you arrive at the hotel. The great thing is, this whole conversation follows a pretty standard script, which makes it way easier than you think. Okay, so you're at the desk. The first thing you're almost guaranteed to hear is this. Something like, "Bonjour, monsieur," or "Bonjour, madame. Comment puis-je vous aider?" It's just a simple, polite, "Hello, how can I help you?" Now the ball is in your court. It's your turn to speak. So step one is simple. You just have to make your request. Let's get right into the key phrase you're going to need. Okay, this phrase right here, this is your magic wand. Je voudrais une chambre simple pour une nuit. Je voudrais is the most polite way to say I would like. It's so much better than just saying I want. Then you have une chambre simple, which is a single room, and pour une nuit, for one night. See? Super simple, direct, and really polite. Okay, awesome. You've made your request, and now a real conversation is happening. Step 2 is all about locking in the details. And you know what? It almost always kicks off with the exact same question. And here it is. This is probably the most common follow-up you're ever going to get. Avec ou sans petit déjeuner? With or without breakfast? It's a totally standard question because, it affects the price. So you should definitely be ready for this one. So let's break that down. Your two options are avec petit déjeuner, that's with breakfast, and sans petit déjeuner, without breakfast. Honestly, avec and sans are two of the most useful words you can learn in French. You'll use them for everything. All right, so for our little scenario, let's say you definitely want that French breakfast. Your answer is super easy. Avec petit déjeuner, s'il vous plaît. Just tack on that s'il vous plaît, please, at the end. It's always a good move. Okay, next step comes the price. The receptionist will figure out the rate based on your request and tell you the cost. So for us, let's imagine they say it's $80. But here's the thing, listen very closely to what they say right after the number. Because you'll probably hear this, petit déjeuner inclus. And that just confirms that, yep, breakfast is included in that price they just gave you. It's great to hear because it means no nasty surprises on your bill later. All right, so you've got the price, you know breakfast is included, and you're happy with the deal. We're on the home stretch now. It's time for the final step, getting that key. And this is how you seal the deal. This is your yes moment. C'est parfait, je prends la chambre. That's perfect, I'll take the room. It's super clear, totally decisive, and it tells them you're ready to check in. So just to recap those last few little steps. First, you agree to the price. Then they're probably going to ask for your passport. That's totally standard pretty much everywhere. And once they've got your info logged, that's it. You get your key and your room number. And here's the last little bit of info they'll give you, where to go. They might say something like, La chambre est au deuxième étage. The room is on the second floor. But wait, here is a super important travel tip. In France, the ground floor doesn't count as the first floor. So the deuxième étage, or second floor, is actually what someone from the US would call the third floor. Huh. Definitely good to know before you start climbing stairs. And believe it or not, that's the whole conversation. You did it. So now let's just boil it all down to the absolute essential phrases, like a little cheat sheet you could keep in your back pocket. Seriously, these 5 phrases are your toolkit. They will get you through the entire check-in process. You've got je voudrais une chambre to start things off, then your choice of avec or sans petit déjeuner, then you seal the deal with c'est parfait. If they ask for your passport, you can smoothly hand it over and say, voici mon passeport. And you always finish up with a nice warm merci beaucoup. You master these 5, you're golden. And just like that, you're done. You handled the whole conversation, you checked in, and you did it all in French. Pretty amazing, right? Now you've got that key in your hand, and a whole new city is out there just waiting for you to explore. So the only question left is, where are you heading first? Okay, so picture this. You've just had the most incredible trip in France. Your bags are all packed, and really the only thing between you and heading home is checking out of your hotel. It all comes down to just two simple conversations, and we're going to walk through them right now, step by step. So, are you ready for this final little challenge? Of course you are. And trust me, by the end of this, you're going to see just how easy it is to check out of your hotel feeling confident and, maybe with a little bit of French flair. Let's do it. All right, first things first. Before we even think about paying the bill, we've got to talk about the most important meal of the day, right? So our first conversation is all about breakfast, or as they say in France, le petit déjeuner. And the great thing here is that this conversation is so simple. I mean, it really just boils down to 3 tiny steps. You ask a question, you get the answer, and then you say thank you. That's it. It's actually the perfect warm-up for your French skills. Okay, step 1, asking the question. You walk up to the desk and you say, à quelle heure est le petit déjeuner? All you're really asking here is, what time is breakfast? Super simple. Now, the receptionist is probably going to give you a really clear, simple answer. Something just like this. Le petit déjeuner est servi de 7 heures à 10 heures. And all that means is breakfast is served from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. See? Totally easy to understand. And here's a fun little trick to remember that phrase. Le petit déjeuner, it literally translates to the little lunch. Kind of cool, right? It's a neat way to lock that word into your brain. And to wrap up this first chat, all you need is one powerful little word, merci. It's polite, it's clear, and it shows you appreciate the help. And boom, conversation number 1 is done. All right, breakfast is sorted. Now it's time for the main event, paying and actually checking out. This part is called le départ, which just means the departure. And you'll see it uses the same kind of simple, easy building blocks we just practiced. And get this, you can kick off the entire checkout process with just one polite phrase. Je voudrais payer. It just means I would like to pay. Seriously, think of it as the magic key that gets the whole thing started. Now, to make it even smoother, you can put it all together. You start with a friendly bonjour, and then you say, Je voudrais payer et faire le départ. It's just, hello, I would like to pay and check out. It's the perfect way to let them know exactly what you need. The receptionist is going to know exactly what you mean, and they'll probably ask this one key question.
Très bien, vous payez par carte ou en espèces?
And this is where you just have to make a choice. Are you paying by card or with cash? So let's just break down those 2 options really quick. Par carte means by card, and en espèces means in cash. So all you have to do is listen for those keywords, carte or espèces, and you'll know exactly what they're asking. So for our example, let's just say we're paying by card. The response is super direct. Je paye par carte. I pay by card. And you know the best part? You're literally just using the same keyword they did, carte. It makes forming your answer so easy. So once that payment is all finished, you'll probably hear something like, Merci, voici votre reçu. This is just, thank you, here is your receipt. And just like that, you've picked up another handy word, reçu for receipt. Now, you could totally just say merci and be on your way. But if you want to add a little extra touch of politeness, this is a fantastic phrase. Merci pour votre service. It means thank you for your service, and it's just a really nice thing to say. And you know what? In return, you'll probably get this wonderful, warm send-off, bonne journée et bon voyage. It means have a nice day and a safe trip. I mean, what a perfect way to end your stay. Okay, let's do a super quick recap. In just a couple of minutes, you've built this awesome little toolkit of phrases for checking out of any hotel. Let's just run through them one last time so they're totally fresh in your mind. Ready? Here we go. For breakfast, à quelle heure est le petit déjeuner? To start the checkout, je voudrais payer. To say how you're paying, je paie par carte. The simple, absolutely essential thank you. Merci. And that amazing farewell. Bonne journée et bon voyage. And that's it. You've totally got this. You just walked through the entire hotel checkout process in French, from asking about breakfast to getting that warm send-off. Seriously, congratulations and bon voyage. So, now that you've totally nailed this, the only question left is, what's the next conversation you're going to go out there and master?